On November 24th, 1960, Wilt Chamberlain does something superhuman again. We all know Wilt for setting the record for the most points in a single game with 100. But his all-around game was more than that. And he did that in 1960, facing off against his rival Bill Russell in the Boston Celtics, setting the record for the most rebounds in a single game at 55. A number just as crazy as his 100-point game. Wilt Chamberlain truly was a video game type player before video games were even around. Join us today as we dive into the build-up to this game and what all happened to set this incredible record that will never be broken in the history of the NBA. Today on Daily Sports History. Welcome to Daily Sports History. I'm Ethan Reese, your guide, because rebounding is literally the only thing I can do on a basketball court. So let's go back to the 1960s. See, the NBA was not what it is today back then. It was growing in popularity, and it exploded because of one man by the name of Wilt Chamberlain. And he had a great adversary with the Boston Celtics in Bill Russell. If we look back in history, these great players and rivalries really helped shape the NBA. In the 1960s, it was Wilt and Bill Russell. In the 1980s, it was Magic and Bird. And each of these rivalries really ramped up the NBA's popularity. Now, Wilt Chamberlain was literally a freak of nature. The closest thing we have today to Wilt Chamberlain would be Giannis Antetokounmpo, but he was bigger and faster and could jump higher. That's a scary thought to think of in today's basketball. He stood 7'1", weighing over 300 pounds, but reportedly had over a 40-inch vertical and could run a 100-yard dash in 10 seconds while bench pressing over 500 pounds. And he dominated at every level. He grew up in the Philadelphia area and dominated in high school and was a prize recruit for everyone across the country. He ended up going to Kansas, who was a blue blood university started by the creator of basketball, James Naismith. And he put together some of the greatest college basketball seasons ever while at Kansas. But the problem was, he didn't want to be there anymore. He was ready to go make money. At the time, amateurism was very rigorous. Amateurism was the end-all, be-all. So there was no taking money of any kind. You just had your scholarship for the school. And he was ready to leave after his junior year of college, and he faced a dilemma. At that time, you had to finish 4 years out of high school to enter the NBA, and he had only 3 years. So there's a great team in the Harlem Globetrotters that offered him a $50,000 contract for his first year. That's huge. That's more than any other basketball player was making at the time. And he dominated with the Globetrotters, and then his name came up the next year after his 4 years were up from high school. And the NBA draft at that time gave preference to local teams. So if a kid grew up or played college in the area of the team, they got territory rights to draft them. So the Philadelphia Warriors had territory rights to draft Wilt Chamberlain, which they did at great cost. They gave him a $30,000 contract, the highest rookie contract ever, and he made more than any other basketball player. The reason being is he came out and dominated. His rookie year was the stuff of legends. It's the greatest rookie years ever. The year was 1959, and he averaged 37.6 points and 27 rebounds in 72 games. These are all rookie records and some of the highest totals in a season all time. And he also averaged 46.4 minutes a game. He barely came off the floor. He was in that good a shape and able to dominate like crazy. Now, at the time, centers were smaller than he was. They were normally around 6'9", so he was a taller player, had more athletic ability, and he really used that ability to dominate on multiple ends of the court. He would go on to win Rookie of the Year, MVP, as well as being the MVP of the All-Star game that year. So coming into the 1960 season, he was already one of the greatest players in the NBA, maybe ever, after 1 year. And 1960 was a banner year for him. He would go on to do what he's most known for, his 100-point game. But he also had another record game against his rival, Bill Russell. Now, if you don't know Bill Russell, he was a stalwart with the Boston Celtics. He was known for his defense and his rebounding ability, and him and Wilt Chamberlain would go back and forth in the Eastern Conference Finals and in the finals for years, with him getting the best because his team was overall a better team. Wilt was a better player overall, and Russell did get the best of him a lot of times, but arguably the Celtics at the time had the better overall team most of the time. So on November 24th, 1960, the Warriors were hosting the Boston Celtics. At the time, they were both at the top of the East, with the Warriors at 11-5 and Boston at 10-3. So this was a big matchup for the league as two of the top teams were facing off. So they come into the game, and the Celtics back then were led by Bill Russell. They had Bob Cousy, Sam Jones, Tom Hyson, and this was a team that would go on to win championship after championship. And the Warriors, of course, had Wilt Chamberlain, Al Adels, who was a good player and would have his number retired by the Warriors, and Paul Arizin, who was basically the running mate for Wilt Chamberlain. He was a 10-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champ, would be All-NBA 4 times, and make the Hall of Fame. But he was at the tail end of his career at this time, but still very good. So the Warriors came out and put physicality above everything. They knew they needed to be physical against a very physical Celtics team. They really asserted themselves on the boards. Wilt himself didn't focus on scoring, which he was great at. He really focused on the boards. And at the end of the first quarter, it was 26-34, with the Celtics in the lead. And Wilt had 8 points and 10 rebounds. In the second quarter, Wilt really put his offensive prowess on display, getting to about 20 points and having another 12 to 15 rebounds. Now, when I give you these numbers, I might give you a range because we don't know exactly. The box scores kept in that day were not kept quarter by quarter. We were lucky to have what we had at the end of the game. So at the half, the Celtics have been an offensive juggernaut. They have 69 points, opposed to 53 for the Warriors. It's a hard-fought battle, and even though they're crashing the boards, it's still not enough for the Warriors. But the second half, they come out and they take a jump on the Celtics. Wilt ups his game even more, scoring about 14 points and having almost 20 rebounds in this quarter alone, enough for any player to think it was a good game rebound-wise. This helped energize them and bring the lead to only 13. And in the fourth quarter, Wilt puts it all on the line. Now, mind you, Wilt has not come out of the game this entire time. He ends up playing the entire 48 minutes of the game. This is how important this game was to Wilt and the Warriors team. The Celtics haven't really become the rivals yet, but this was the beginning as he grabbed rebound after rebound, keeping Bill Russell in check. He ends up with almost 20 rebounds at the end of this quarter, getting him 55 rebounds for the game. He only ends up with 34 points on the game, which is a great number for any player, especially in today's day and age. For Wilt, that was a below average game because he was facing against Bill Russell, one of the best center defenders of all time. But the physicality he put on the rebounding front was what really pushed him. And just for context, he had 55 rebounds. The Celtics had 59 as a team. He almost out-rebounded the entire Celtic team. And he wasn't the only one on the Warriors. The rest of the team had 35 rebounds. And they came back to make it a game at the end of the fourth. But it was too little, too late, and they lost by 3 points in this iconic game, giving Wilt Chamberlain, whose star was rising rapidly, it gave him a record that stands to this day. 55 rebounds is an unheard of stat. no one has come close since. The closest one was Bill Russell around the same era. And Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell account for 22 of the 24 NBA games where someone rebounded over 40 rebounds in a game. Wilt is always remembered for his scoring, but his rebounding was ridiculous. His career rebounding rate was just under 23 rebounds a game. It wasn't just a double-double. He was averaging over 20 a game. It just shows you how dominant he was as a player in all aspects of the game. And though Bill Russell usually got the best of him when it came to winning championships, he got the best of him this night, getting 55 rebounds, a record that, if he did not play, would be owned by Russell. But at least he's able to have that above Russell for his legendary career. I want to thank you for listening to today's Daily Sports History. If you like this, please make sure you like and subscribe wherever you're listening and leave us a review. It helps me immensely do things to make this an even better podcast for you. And we'll see you on the next one.